In this video, we're going to go over baking the knife in Marmoset Toolbag. So here's the high poly model. Here's the low poly model, or game res. And you can see we're about 19,000. It's because some of these are going to duplicate. So some of these spacers, those spacers are duplicated and the inside washer is duplicated. So the total asset is about 19.5 or something like that. Just so you guys can see, let's go to panel and go UV layout, and you can see the UV pack again. So these parts here, just to make it easy, I just duplicated this screw and then moved them up to match where the high polys are, because they all have unique UVs, but they don't actually have to be in place while they're baked. Okay, so now that you have your high poly and low poly matched up, UVs are good, the next thing to check for is the naming. So when you have an asset that has multiple parts to it, you're going to put it into a folder called whatever the asset is. I do knife underscore low, knife underscore high. Okay, notice it's all lowercase, and the parts are camel case, no spacing, a single underscore in the suffix low in lowercase, and here in the high, same format, they have to match exactly, single underscore high. Okay, so with the low poly, like this, all I do is just select everything that's in the low poly right here, and what I want to do is I want to export this. So I'm going to export this as an FBX. And I'm going to do knife low, and so you guys can see the settings here. You want, on the low poly model, you want to triangulate on export. And the reason why is the mesh can't re-triangulate prior to baking. So it's going to triangulate on export, and it's going to have the correct triangulation for the normal map. So then just go ahead and export. And then for the high poly, I'm going to go ahead and select everything. And, this has already been triangulated because it was decimated, right? So I am simply going to do the same thing, and I'm going to export the high poly, and I'm going to do FBX and just name this high. So hit export, and then we're going to head over to Marmoset. Now in Marmoset, what we're going to do is we're going to just open it up and come over here to the loaf of bread to add a new baking project. It's super simple. Just come down here to the bake and go to your quick loader and hit load. And we're going to select both the low and the high at the same time. So unlike in Substance Painter, you open your project with the game res, and then you go to the baking menu and then later load the high poly. Here you can load them both at the same time. So we'll just give it a minute to load. Now that it loads, you should see that there's a folder for the name of each mesh, and it should match, and you should see the high and the low in the correct folder. If for some reason these are incorrect, you can always click and drag the mesh into the correct folder. But as long as they're named correctly, they match and have the correct suffix, they'll go into the correct folder. It's really simple. Down here, I'm going to keep pretty much everything default. I don't change anything here. Padding is fine. Everything's fine here. It's a single texture set, so I don't need to do anything there. Resolution, you can choose your resolution here, and you can go all the way up to 8K, which is nice. 4K is plenty for what we're doing. Here's all your basic maps, and here I'm going to bake a normal, a curvature, and an AO. You can do more in here if you like. I don't bother doing a material ID, and I don't do a object space normal or anything else, because those I can generate in Painter as a mesh map. So I can go here and click on the gear, and if you want to change OpenGL to DirectX, you can just flip the Y channel. So we can take a look to see what it looks like, to see if we need to do that. And then this here will preview preview the map. Okay, this here will edit the baked map. So here curvature is pretty nice. So I can change the strength and just the soften amount. Since curvature is used to kind of mask things off in any type of generator or automated fashion in Substance Painter, you want to make sure that you have your range, because you always can clamp it down or change the balancing of that reference when you're creating a mask or using the curvature as a reference in Substance Painter. So if it's actually a little soft, I'll dial it up a little bit just so I have a full range of to work with. And then same thing's true with the ambient occlusion. So yeah, so once that looks good, you just click start. We gotta choose an output, and we'll just do it right here. We'll just do knife demo right here, and then you choose the type, and we'll just do PNG. And you can see it's going to bake super quick. And it's done. Nope, there we go. 3 maps. Now I think we're done. And then we just come here and we click preview material. And you can see, again, it's really quick. So let's just go ahead and take a look and see if we have any issues, and we'll look at how to address them. Okay, so right off the bat, overall it looks really nice, right? Not too bad. But we can see right here, we're getting something kind of funky, right? Like this clearly is not like that. So let's just go ahead and try to figure out and troubleshoot what that could be. So this is the spacer. So let's just grab the top of the folder and let's just pull this out and just kind of see. And it will actually auto bake again as soon as you move anything. Here it doesn't actually fix that, right? So it looks crazy, like this looks like the screws from this, right? So like it has burn from the other object. So, you know, this comes from, you know, like experiences. Well, what could cause this, right? So like these striations where it's dark and light is usually an indication that something's breaking through the cage. This has screws on the inside. So maybe it's a cage issue, but this is on the outside. So my first guess is maybe there is overlapping UVs. So this is on the spacer. So let's go back to Maya and let's take a look. We can go here and select the spacer. Let's go to our side-by-side view and let's go panels, panel and UV editor, right? So, you know, if we go and we select this and go here, okay, so this is where this is, right? So let's go ahead and select this whole thing. And then let's come to shells. And here's the shell, right? It's not overlapping, right? So that eliminates that problem, right? Like it's not an overlapping UV where a screw is. So, but that's kind of how I troubleshoot based on like what I'm seeing. Okay, so that looks good. And so let's go back over here and, you know, take a look at what it possibly could be. Again, we're seeing, this is the clue right here, is we're seeing a bake, no information, bake, no information, and there's screw threading on the inside. So most likely this is a cage issue where the cage is just not large enough. And just expand the cage and it's clear. So there we go, we have fixed that. Let's go ahead and look and see if we have any other issues. So that's nice and clean again. Let's take a look inside here, some of these parts. I think if we look in here, we can see there's burning from this object to this object, or that face to that face. So we probably know what's causing that, right? That's the handle back. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so we can see the default is the cage is so large, it's pushing to the other mesh, right? So if we just go ahead and tighten this down. So when you bake, you want your cage, it needs to engulf the high poly model. and you want it as close as possible to here, right, where nothing is poking through. And that's going to give you the best bake. Okay, so let's take a look and see if we've fixed that. Looks really nice. It's, again, easy fix. Okay, so I just go and I check that with every asset. It just takes a minute and looks pretty good. The last thing I want to show you guys is this. So this isn't really obvious, like if you're just going around, but what you want to be careful of is when you have assets like this that have flat faces. So this is geo here. So we can just take a look at this. So we can see this is geo, a chamfer, and then this is flat, and then this has geo again, right? But long like faces. So if we show the, let's see here. So once we click on the pivot, we can see these long triangulations over this long flat, it's kind of this flat surface, right? These will have a tendency to give you wobbles in things that should, like they are raycast projected, right? So think of like raycasting is the, taking XYZ and, doing an automatic map, and it's just projecting it in a single direction. So we can see from the skewed data, the little hairs, those are the surface normals, and you can see as it's going from one surface to the other, they're not all sticking straight up, right? And so this is what's causing the wobbles and the surface. So Marmoset has this built-in tool that I can live interact and just paint them out. And so what I do is I just come over and open it up, and using a mask, I paint black and white, and as I paint over, you'll see the skewed data will just immediately disappear. It's pretty freaking cool. So it basically gives you the best of both worlds, where you have a caged for everything else, and then in select areas of the same asset, you can have array distance calculation from in XYZ plus or minus, positive or negative cast. It's just coming straight down. So let's go ahead and just paint it out in real time, and it instantly starts updating. It's really, really cool. The only thing that you need to be cautious of is when you're painting these out is do not paint over any UV edges. If you paint over an edge, it will cause the artifact effect that you get when you have a hard edge that's landlocked in UV space. So you want to avoid painting over any of the edges. That's the only thing to be mindful of. If you're not able to get them to solve the skewness, really the only thing to do is you need to go back to an old school technique where you're adding supporting edges, there with like a bevel or a chamfer, and then export that to kind of give it more points. Here, all I'm going to do is go to the material and make it look a little bit more metallic by turning up the metallic and dialing down the roughness. This will allow you to spot imperfections in the bake a lot easier because the thing's not going to be this shiny, right? So this is like, in the worst case scenario, what it might look like, right? With zero textures, something that's super shiny and reflective. So that's kind of like just a way that I can test the bake, see if the lighting, make sure that stuff wasn't too hard or sharp. And then you can click on this little preview ball and preview your different maps. So I preview generally the AO and the curvature. And here I can actually add additional rays to the AO. And if you want to crank it up to 1K or 4K, it's just going to be less, it's going to be smoother and a little bit nicer. Okay, so this little error right here is probably just simply that the cage doesn't quite line up. So check all your meshes, make sure that you have something you like, and then go ahead and save it as you'd like. I usually save it as a PNG. So hopefully that helps you guys. It's super convenient, super easy to use, and we'll see you next time.